Did you know that you can play a polar bear in Dungeons & Dragons? I know that sounds weird. Not only can you play a polar bear in D&D, but you can also play it several different ways. The Awaken Animal spell in both D&D and Pathfinder are, let's say, morally questionable. But if you want to play Rocket Raccoon, this is a good way to do it. And thanks to having consciousness and self-awareness forced upon you, it comes with free grief and trauma. Or you could just play a bear. This process works really well for any monster races. You just have to start your character at the minimum monster level, and then you rock and roll. But most people want to just roll their stats, so we're going to go ahead and use the Awaken Animal ancestry from Pathfinder 2nd Edition, which once again, kind of messed up. It brings up all kind of morally ambiguous questions like, who's going to pay for the years of therapy that follow your existential crisis for being awakened to all your newfound responsibilities? Like, you have to do laundry now. And taxes. Do they have to start paying a pet deposit, or do you actually have to sign on to the lease now to live here? And I don't know how many people actually want their cats or dogs to be able to talk to other people and say the things that they've seen at your house. I'm just saying, buy a bathrobe. Ethical dilemmas aside, if you really want to simplify this for 5th edition, essentially just roll a character, use Tasha's +2/+1 stat bonus thing, and then just take one of the simple features from the monster's trait. And you're done. Mind you, some of these will be level gated to monsters, so talk to your DM first. Especially if you want to play something like a T-Rex, you probably don't start as a gargantuan creature that has the ability to swallow whole. But you do start with teeth. You're like halfway there. Swallow partial. Swallow arm? I don't know how that would work. Just wait until level 10. Let's get back to the polar bear. Polar bears in 5e are a CR level 2 creature, but if you look at their hit points, they have 5d10 plus 15 hit points, with a con score of +3. So these bad boys are actually level 5. So you could theoretically just start the game at level 5 with the proper stats and things from the monster manual. Mechanically, you just have 5 levels of polar bear. And so when you take the 6th level, you can start taking whatever class you want. In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, the polar bear is a CR5 creature, which is much closer to their actual level, but their stats are slightly shifted. So it's kind of the same, but a little bit of nuance. You could just grant somebody the multi-attack you would get from being a monster, but if you're going to be playing a character that would be beneficial for, you'll probably get something very similar from your class. So I would just give them a keen sense and the bite and claw attack, which is usually pretty good. And when playing a polar bear monk, it's easy enough to just say that you're doing your flurry of blows with the bite and claw attack that they would get as the monster. Oh, and also proficiency with fishing, right? I mean, like, you need that. In Pathfinder 2nd Edition, you can get to choose what kind of attack you have by taking different awakened animal heritages, or just by choosing the cosmetic form of the animal that you are. But then further choose bonus movement types, like whether you want to be swimming, digging, or have a flight speed, depending on whether you chose the fish, the drumstick, or the rump roast, respectively. I almost always take the versatile heritage anyways, because I think your heritage should really be based around your upbringing or lack thereof. Beyond that, there's some really fun feats you can take as an awakened animal. Awakened Magic gives you a free cantrip of your choice, so you can do dumb stuff like put tiny hats on your squirrel friends. Or Scurry, which lets you and your squirrel friends scatter whenever danger appears. Later you can get animal summoning, so you can summon your own squirrel friends. Or you can take the feat Awaken Other Animals to give your squirrel friends a generational trauma and crippling depression, all based around the longing of a life that they can never go back to thanks to you. Then at level 9 you get Fearsome Form, which allows you to cast Mask of Terror once per day, so that other people can see the type of horrible monster you've become. But here's where Awakened Animals actually get kind of boring. You get access to 3 abilities, and I'm on the fence about them. Awakened Form allows you to use all manners of weapons, armors, and clothing, which kinda is meh. On the one side, it makes sense that you have the armor and clothes made fit for you, and like, I've seen doggos wearing cute sweaters, so that's fine. But I'm not a big fan of creatures getting thumbs for free. Yes, it makes wielding a sword easier, but you lose that cool factor of actually being an animal. If you're a polar bear or a wolf, I'd allow you to wield a weapon in your teeth for fun, but at that point, you're basically just a human with claws, so you might as well just be a tiefling, or I don't know, catfolk? I mean, it's kind of all the same. Which is the one with the tail? Elephants can already wield weapons. They have a trunk. Why would you want them to do it any other way? Why give them thumbs? Just let animals wield weapons like God intended. Although if we're talking about D&D gods, your mileage may vary. Animal Mind gives you a normal intelligence roll instead of the base 3, but it also allows you to cast spells and the alike, but that infers that some animals can't cast spells, which I assume excludes supernatural abilities, because there's got to be a fake creature that made a deal with a bluebird to give him supervision. Animals aren't inherently dumb, they just haven't been given the opportunity to learn magic. All I'm saying is if the album Harry Potter was able to take classes instead of just deliver the mail, that would have been a very different movie. Be aggressive with your familiars, people. Not aggressive to them, with them. Use them to attack things. If your familiar is an armadillo, I don't see why you can't swing it around like a handbag. And finally, the Awaken Animal spell gives you the ability to speak common languages, knowing additional languages based on the amount of intelligence you have. But the issue with this is that dogs, gorillas, and birds all understand common language. There's an argument there that cats can also understand languages, but they're assholes, so we'll talk about that some other time. So really what this is doing is giving you the ability to speak humanoid languages. But to me, this is kind of boring. If you want to be an epic polar bear, you need to have bear mouth. If you want to be a dog paladin, dog mouth, cool beak, Kenku. Actually, Kenku are kind of cool with their curses and everything, so we'll leave them alone. But the language should be a part of the main challenge of being an animal. Hey, what's that over there? I make stupid bear noises and point at the thing that I notice. Cool, roll me a performance check. Natural 1. The party thinks you're doing a really neat trick. The T-Rex pops out of the bushes and devours the rogue.
not again.
And this can be a really fun function of the party, whether it's the druid using speak with animals, or maybe you have someone in the group that can translate through telepathy or hand signals. The point being that building an animal should be just as much about finding your place in the humanoid world than it is about being a fuzzy creature. Maybe you don't have the same idea of costuming or etiquette that others do, and maybe you get along better with the fae and monsters than other civilized party members. Maybe you just want to pretend that you're one of the animal companions of the less intelligent ranger in the party.
Hey man, I think your pet's giving me side-eye. Oh, Mr. Jingly Beans? Nah, he just looks like that.
If your players are really struggling with this, you can always give them an amulet of humanoid speech or
call or speak with people? Dog tag of understanding? I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
But make it something like a fun mini side quest or have a limited number of uses per day. Something that your animal folk can build into at higher levels.
Now get out there, get yourself a new flea collar, and make sure you spay and neuter your pets. Wait, in this situation, don't do that. Yeah, don't do that. Would be bad.
I'm just going to end the video.
Remember to keep your dice on the table.
Okay, so if you're a polar bear and you're proficient in both fishing and unarmed attacks, and I'm a monk so I can make my attacks deadly, I want to impale the king with a salmon. Where did you get a salmon? I brought it with me. I mean, they have a bite attack which gives them piercing attacks, but I don't think you can throw a fish through a person. Okay, I'm just going to fish slap him then. Just roll the dice. Natural 20.